Hi, this is Victoria Miracle and Purposeful Woman Podcast. My goal for this podcast is to bring you the best information from the brightest woman in the world. Let's go. Today we have a Jacqui. Hi, Jacqui.
Hi, Victoria. Great to be here.
Yes, I would love to. I'm loving to having you here. I'm going to introduce you a little bit. You're not complete strangers to the evidence. So Jacqui, it's a bold, unusual, and funny. I fell in love with her in the first conversation I did have. Jacqui Somerville isn't your typical motivator. She's an entrepreneur, speaker, passion coach, and best-selling author, and has her own one-woman show about love, sex, and romance. She has been married a few times, immigrated twice, been fat and slim and broke and rich, and follow her God to a life to excitement, adventure, and passion and purpose. Oh, hi, Jacqui again. And how does purpose matter in this life? How does passion, how has everything led you to being on that journey?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Why does passion and purpose matter? I tell you that I experienced firsthand being wealthy and having all my needs met and all my desires met and living this amazing life, but I had no purpose and I wasn't passionate about anything. And so I felt absolutely empty and miserable, which is so weird. And I know a lot of people think when I say that, oh, but I would love to, at least I think I'd feel like really passionate and on purpose if I was very wealthy and I had all the money that I needed. And everybody wants to at least try that. And I get that. I totally do. And you don't have to believe me. I only speak from experience that when I had everything, but I had no purpose, I was totally empty inside. And strangely enough, I was willing to give it all up in order to have a purpose, a reason, and have a great deal of meaning in my life. So that is how I came to this conclusion that purpose and passion matter a whole bunch. And I went on this journey as to how to find mine. And then I ended up obviously helping people to do the same because I discovered it and I discovered how one goes about finding it and how you give your life a great deal of meaning. Yeah, that's in a nutshell
That
why
is
it
wonderful.
matters to me.
Where have you emigrated? What is your story like? Where do you come from, and how did you immigrate twice? You mentioned it, as I did twice
Yes.
too. So, like, share with us.
I know you did. And anybody who's listening who's immigrated knows how hard it is. It's a lot harder than people who haven't experienced it think. And so it takes a lot of guts and especially doing it on your own. I don't know about you. Did you immigrate on your own at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's challenging. So the first time was when I was 26 years old and I immigrated from South Africa to Canada.
Mm.
And I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia for about 20 years. And then I immigrated again from Canada to the US in 2012.
Mm.
So now people can calculate my great age. But so, yes, and so I did it the first time without any money and the second time with money. And I think it was difficult both times. I don't think money made it easier, really. In some ways, yes, but in other ways, no. So yeah, and I think when you're in your 20s, as you probably know, it's an adventure. You look at everything as an adventure and you don't think that things are going to go wrong. Everything's going to go your way. Things will work out. So when you hit roadblocks, this is temporary. This will be fine. It'll all work out in the end. And then as you get older, you start to, I don't know, become a naysayer. I think because of all the shit that people put in your head over the years, and you start to not believe in yourself so much. And so, yeah, it's an interesting thing, but immigration, you've got to be tough, just like when you're starting a business. So you're going to get some really big challenges. And the bottom line is you got to believe in yourself and you got to know that it's all going to work out. And all you have to do is persevere, because I knew one thing. I knew I was never going to go back.
Mm.
Or die. I was going to stay, figure it out and make it work or die trying. I was that determined. And as we know, you've probably read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. And I
Yes,
bet
yes, I
a lot of
did.
your audience has too. You got to burn your boats. And that's passion. If you've burnt your boats and you have no way to retreat from your dream, you make it work. And nothing gives you more passion than burning your boats and not having an option to retreat. So I'd say in immigration, in business, in anything, that's one of the biggest, best lessons to ever learn. Burn your boats, go all in, boots and all. Be absolutely determined that you're never going to go backwards and that it's going to work no matter what. That is true passion. And when you do that, it will work out. It always does.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. That's a great motivational speech here, and I love it. That's why you call not a typical motivator. I totally agree. And life without passion is just miserable. Like it's just yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that word correctly, but it's just you can't do anything with this. It doesn't make you joy and happy, anything you do.
Yes.
And I'm curious, what are you doing? Like when you immigrated as a business, and how have you ever have always the same business, or you started a new ones each time you immigrated?
Yeah, interesting question. So the first time I was in the corporate world, and my degree is actually in agriculture. So
Mhm.
I am by trade, I'm a farmer by education.
Now
Wouldn't
it's
you know?
very famous, like try to be a farmer. It's
Yes.
so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so I immigrated to, and I started looking for a job. Like I had to find a job right away because I didn't have money. And or a home, I didn't know a living soul. Like it was literally one of those arrive with your suitcase and your tennis racket, make it work kind of thing. And so I got a job and I worked in the corporate world. And it was only after I left that life where that passionless life where I had money and a great relationship and or the money came from my relationship with somebody else that I ended up feeling like I had no purpose in life and my life didn't have meaning, that I was living through somebody else and he was getting he was feeling a great sense of accomplishment
Mhm.
through his business stuff. And I was just the second in command and I wasn't born for that. And I knew that. So I had to go on a mission to discover what my purpose was at that point. And I was already in my 40s and I'd already been addicted to personal development. So I'd already read all the books and changed my life a number of times through reading all the books and doing the work. And so I knew about how to follow goals and dreams and how to make them. And so I went on this mission and I started writing a blog, first of all. I saw Julie and Julia on the plane one day and about this woman who had this blog, this cooking blog. And I was like, okay, I need a blog about my lifestyle because I had 3 multi-million-dollar homes and I was like living the life. And I thought I'd just start talking about that because I didn't know what else to do. And one thing led to another. So I would say to any of your audience who are wondering at this point if they don't have a business or if they have one that's just blah, what do you do to figure out what's really going to excite you? And there's so much reading one can do, so much studying, so much listening to other people, but truly it's experimenting more than anything. It's going down, getting these little hunches and going down these paths and trying things out. Because whenever you're going down a path, it will lead you somewhere. And sometimes it splits off and it doesn't go in the direction that you thought, but it leads you somewhere when you are moving forward. So I would say the best thing one can do is to be curious about things and go down that path and see where it leads. And so that's all I did was I just followed paths and I followed hunches and I followed opportunities and eventually started writing books and then started coaching and then started speaking and then created my own show. One thing led to another because I wasn't afraid to follow the opportunities. Even if they didn't lead somewhere, by some kind of a weird backdoor, they would always end up leading to something.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. What I'm hearing is to just take action, like don't overthinking, like just try it. Take action. If you fail, there's no failure, right? It's just a learning curve. It's a feedback. If
Yes.
you are think you are it's not working out, then this is just like a course correction. You gotta learn from that. And
Yes.
how a lot of women, and I found myself before really doubting it, like, if do I have to say anything, or do I look good, do I like what people gonna perceive of me, what is my past, and like everything, right? And just doubting and really starting it and burning myself with the working like you, like that's very masculine way. Like how do we really approach feminine way like of doing business, like being in business, right, and
Yeah.
enjoying it? What would you talk to that a little bit?
Yes. I love that question. You are so right. there is a masculine way of doing it. And we've all learnt so much from our brothers. Let's face it. We've learnt so much from men. Now I think they can learn from us. And there is definitely a wonderful feminine way of doing things. And I don't know about you, but I'm very spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very deep belief, and I nurture that every day. So my morning routine is absolutely critical. I do not get up and do anything before I've done that, which is reading only spiritual, super positive books that put me in the frame of mind of everything is working in my favor. This is going to be an incredible day. Life is just going to flow. So I read very carefully selective, not just any old book. The same sort of passages every day that put me in that state of mind. I then meditate. My meditation practice is at least an hour, and it's absolutely crucial. I wake up early. I believe in early mornings, but I go to bed early, so I'm not burning the candle at both ends. And so the meditation practice is absolutely enormous. And if anything has changed my business more, there's nothing actually that's changed my business more than that. That has been the key. And so all of my private coaching clients get in on the meditation thing. And if they've dabbled in it before, I get them taking it seriously. And I hold them accountable, and they start to see miracles happen. Not to sound too woo-woo, but that is literally what happens. So the meditation practice is huge. The other thing for me is exercise. Mm-hmm. And then the big one is following hunches and intuitive hits and just flowing with them, as opposed to grinding out thinking, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? I pose the question to divine intelligence in my meditation. This is what I'm looking for an answer for today. And then I drop it. I don't intellectualize it. I don't sit there with my notepad and asking a million people. I just know that the answer will come naturally. And then I get an intuitive hunch to send out a certain marketing email or say something. And every time it comes in flow like that, it's successful. When I do something in the knee-jerk reaction, oh my gosh, I got to make some money this week. I better send out a marketing email. What am I going to do? It doesn't get the response. Energy is everything. So when I put out something that just comes to me intuitively and in flow, it always is successful. So I would say that to me is the feminine way of doing business. I don't like the words hustle. I don't like the word grind. I don't like those things. I don't relate, and I don't think they serve us.
Oh, I love that. Morning routine, it's not negotiable with me too. I'm very spiritual, and that changed my life. Like you said, meditation, 15 minutes a day, just 3 years ago, changed my life. I'm so on it. I love guided meditation. If you're feeling yourself really like on high beta, it's really thinking a lot, and you sit down and you like can't really slow down and concentrate. Find a guided meditation. That's like the best thing. Like, just so amazing. Like, you're distracting yourself from your mind, and you're giving service to your mind, which is really good. And
oh yeah, I'm so thrilled to hear that it changed your life too. It really is incredible. And I would just recommend to your audience, if anybody wants to really delve into the science behind all of this, that Dr. Joe Dispenza is the best teacher on this subject, isn't he?
He's amazing. Like, you gotta see him speak. He's just so great. Yes, I think we already touched him on some interview as well, like Wim Hof and Joe Dispenza. They're like the best girls right now. Absolutely. So what do you mean by the feeling that intuitive hits? A lot of women, and I've been one of them before, I wouldn't really understand what is this actually, like what is it actually intuition is, right? And like, how do we get tap into it? And is there any service, any practices to do it?
Yeah, obviously, definitely meditation is the key, because it's when you are out of your mind that there's this great saying of, in order to get close to God and tune into your soul, you must first lose your mind. And I love that. Lose your mind and get into the soul. And so meditation helps me to lose my mind. So if something just drops into my thought process, and I have a little notebook next to me when I meditate, which is, I know most people don't, but I do, because I don't want to make my thoughts bad or wrong. If I have thoughts in my meditation, usually, unless I can feel myself going down a rabbit hole of negativity, in which case, catch yourself, go back into breathing technique and relax again. But if a thought comes just naturally to me when I'm in a very relaxed state, that is always a good one. And that I need to write down and remember. The other day I had something brilliant happen. Then by the time I came out of my meditation, I'd forgotten what it was because I didn't have my notebook. But I know that next time I relax and stuff, that it'll come back. These things don't happen when we're like trying to find them, right? Surrender is so key. So you ask the question, you surrender. And when you're in a surrendered state, like you'll be out walking and suddenly you'll just see something written on a wall in graffiti or something. And you'll be like, what? And it'll be like the answer to what you've been looking for when you least expect it. You know what I mean? Or you'll open a book and there'll be oh, that's the tack I'm going to take for that email. It's so interesting how it happens when you are not stressed about it, when you have surrendered and just forgotten really about the question you asked the universe for, and you're busy playing a game or you're relaxed, you're having some pleasure. That's when the answers come.
It's let go, let God.
Totally.
Yeah. What is your favorite morning book? You said you're reading some morning books. Like, would you give us a few to read it?
Yes. So
do you like Gabby Bernstein?
I do, Gabby, but I think I study some of the people that she's studied, and a lot of the sort of people that are now have studied. So I study a lot of the older masters to come to those same conclusions, but in my own way that she's come to. Right now, I'm rereading Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. I'm not a religious person at all. I'm just spiritual, but Conversations with God is a fascinating book. And it's appropriate for me right now. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is a brilliant book. Yeah. I love The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. These are amazing mindset books that remind us of the power that exists within us and the magic in the quantum field that we can tap into. So when you start to feel, oh my gosh, I can do anything, your mindset starts to shift. And then that is what you become, because as our thoughts and our beliefs become our reality, we can change our thoughts in an instant. Are we disciplined enough to do that? That's the question.
Yeah. So is it like a society on you, or you are in control of your mind?
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, is it either they are programming you or you programming yourself? There's no other way around.
Yes. And yes, and one more, there's another teacher that I love to read that can be a little interesting, but his teachings on imagination is huge, which is Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. He was big in the sort of 50s and 60s. And when you read his stuff, you'll see that so many of our current kind of new thought leaders learned from him and from reading these books. I go to Agape, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith's here in LA. And very much those are the teachings that I can see so much of Neville Goddard's teachings in Dr. Michael. But there's a book on his that's specific to imagination. And it's the best book I've ever read about imagination, because imagination is key, right? Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination encircles the world. Knowledge is limited. Imagination is not limited. And when we can get into the power of our imagination, we can bring the future into reality. We can imagine the ideal best case scenario, the most profitable, beautiful business that also gives back, the lifestyle we want to lead. We can imagine it. And when we are truly imagining it, not just thinking about it, but living it, smelling the smells, feeling the feelings, like everything associated, we are drawing it to us. And he's a brilliant teacher in the imagination.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm definitely going to check him out.
Yes.
And I do visualization every morning before I get out of bed. That's 2 minutes before the meditation or after. It's so helpful to just set your mindset for the day and just see how the day you would like to go, and see how the other person, how would you like, how I got confused. So how would other people would like to perceive you if you imagine that in the start of your day? Yes. That's how your day is going to go. Just feel that.
Beautiful. That's so good. God, you're so blessed that you have all this knowledge at a young age. It's really amazing. It's so fantastic.
I'm
So great.
also a self-development junkie. I love
Yeah.
growth, and I love that. I think that's a key because the nation, and I grew up in Russia, which in 90s it was so limited, and Russia well known for there are limited beliefs and very conservative mindset and like spirituality. It's like such a no there.
Yes.
And I was like hungry when I came here. I was like, oh my God.
You're incredible.
That's
That's
what
so
I meant to
beautiful.
do. So
Yeah.
how do we turn our passion into business, right? First we
Yes.
imagine it, we set our mindset straight, and we're like, oh, okay, so how do we do it from that standpoint?
Yeah, so obviously one has to do a little bit of, if you don't know what you want to do yet, it's this combination of what do you love and what are you good at? And one of the best ways is to ask other people, what do they see in you? Like, it's so great when other people say, you're so this and you're that, and your energy is so great and you're such a good speaker, and oh, really? It's very interesting to hear that from other people when you're stuck as to what to do. And so really getting to know yourself, what turns you on, what do you love, what do you spend most of your time doing? If you had all the money in the world, what would you do?
Mm.
That's what would you do with your days? What's important to you? And so actually in the free ebook that I'm giving everybody at the end of this, our interview, it's 6 secrets to kick-ass courage and confidence. But the first chapter is called Crave. And they're all C's, there's 6 C's. And the first one is crave. And in there I go through some exercises as to how one determines what one really loves. What's your magic wand scenario? What do you really want to do with your life? So there's some great exercises to go through there. So it's a combination of what are you good at and what do you love? Because we can have tons of hobbies and interests. We don't have to turn all of them into a business. Which is the one thing that you're the most passionate about? And what if you could change one thing about the world, what would that be? That's another really big indicator to indicate to you what you're passionate about. So the biggest thing everybody says, you've also got to know if there's a need for it. My take is if you are enthusiastic and passionate about something, there could be 1 million people doing the same thing. You'll still be successful if you're enthusiastic and passionate, because people are buying your enthusiasm and your energy about something. And if you're enthusiastic about what you're selling, you will be fine. You will have a successful business, or at least be able to sell things. Obviously there's follow-up and all sorts of more stuff to business, but there'll be a need for your product if you are enthusiastic about it, because everybody's, oh my God, I want what she has or he has, right? So whatever you're truly enthusiastic about. So hopefully that answers the question, but those are just some of the things that I would look into if somebody's looking for how does one turn it into a business. Then the business stuff, you got to get business coaching, right? You really do. Because otherwise you're spending years making all the mistakes that somebody else has already made. And why? I've worked with coaches forever, and I am a coach because I believe in it. So I've worked with life coaches, business coaches, you name it. So I would say if somebody knows what their passion is, has an inkling, and wants to turn it into a business, for goodness sake, work with a good coach and avoid all the mistakes that everyone else is making, because you will get there so much faster and with way less money wasted.
Oh, yes. There's always like this tagline, and I do have a speech as well on the top 3 mistakes. And guys, it's not made up. It's actually the real mistakes that people make that keeps them blah, 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 right? From the unproductive or stuck or not happy or whatever. There is so many things what keeps us frustrated and stressed about it. And that's so true. Find a coach how you would like to be. Right.
Yes.
If you have no kids and you're finding a coach who has 5 kids and they have totally different lifestyle, there's such a difference also which coach you want to get. That's what I made also mistake in my start. It's the start when I hired first coach. I was like, that's totally, now I understand, that's totally not what I would like to have in my life. But absolutely, Jacqui is so amazing.
Really good
And
advice.
I like that question that you said. But just again, I want to repeat it. What are you passionate about? And what is the one thing you want to change in this world? What is that? That was a really new for me. I love it. What is it, do you think, number 1 characteristic that people can embody, the successful person can embody in order to be successful?
Oh, only one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know, but choose that one. I know there's so many.
yeah. Oh, I want to say too. So for me, like the first thing is definitely enthusiasm, right? You got to be, because your energy is everything. Yeah. So you got to be enthusiastic. You got to, and which ties into passion, right? You got to be excited about what you do. You got to believe in it. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? And then, of course, the persistency thing is so key.
Oh,
Don't give up. What we talked about with the immigration, the burning the
there's
bridges.
a persistence.
Yeah. Yeah. Burn the bridges and be 100% committed. I'm going to do this or die trying. That's truly it.
Oh, I love it. All
Yeah.
right. Would you share again what is it, the gift that you're sharing today with our audience?
Yes. So I am doing the free ebook, which is 6 Secrets to Kick-Ass Courage and Confidence.
Mm.
And look, without confidence, what do we have? So I think working on one's confidence, and there's so much more to that little ebook than just that. It's full of amazing stuff to really give people strength and courage as they go into their business or whatever in life. And so 6 Secrets to Kick-Ass Courage and Confidence. And then I think we also said that we would do a free discovery call for half an hour if somebody wanted to chat about coaching or passion to profit. So because of the pandemic, you asked if there was an extra bonus that I could do. And so I'll do that. So a 30-minute call with anybody who would like to reach out and schedule that in. So we'll, I guess, provide my email address and they
Yes.
can email, and my assistant will send a Calendly link and they can book it in.
We will include your calendar link below with your ebook and
Perfect.
your calendar link and everything. So tell us again where they can find you. What's your website, or where would you like there
Yes. So
just to
my
learn more
website,
about you?
yeah. So my website is JacquiSomerville.com. So it's
Mhm.
JACQUIE. And Somerville is an O and one M. So SOMERVILLE. Although I think I own the domains for every single virtual kind of spelling of my name anyway. But so JacquiSomerville.com. And I'm also on social media, although I have to say that I haven't paid a great deal of attention to it, because for me, my business is very much, while my coaching is online, I love to speak and be out in front of audiences. So that's been the key to growing my business, is being out in front of people. And when they hear me on the stage, they want to work with me. So I haven't really bothered too much with social media, although I do have it all, but it's not a huge platform for me.
That is great, because that's where they can find you and reach you faster.
Yeah,
I found when
exactly
people
right.
don't have a big audience on social media, it's so easier to reach them over there instead of an email. And you're like waiting this email for 2 weeks to answer. And when I text to speakers and on even Instagram or tag them on the story, they'll answer me right away. So
Good
yeah,
point.
that's also one of the communication networking tactics.
Yes, there you
All right.
go.
It's lovely to have you here today, Jacqui, and thank you for being here, and thank you for listening for our audience, and I'll stay tuned for the next series. Bye, Jacqui. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Victoria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love this episode? Would you like more of this? So send us text to stand in our purposeful woman community and connect with like-minded women to +1 401 399 4105, and I'll see you there.